Hey, hey, hey there, my Equalizer fans. We are back with the season 3 finale, episode 18, Eye for an Eye. So, of course, this was another good episode, but there were some things on there that I was like, this ain't right. Something ain't right here. Why did they do this or why didn't they do that? So, that's the first time I had an episode where I'm like, really like, this don't make no sense and all of that stuff. So, I'll let you know when I get to those parts. But anyway, y'all know the drill. I asking that if you haven't subscribed to my channel to please subscribe now, like the channel, write a comment, and share. Subscribe, like the video, write a comment, and share. So let's get on with this because this is a good one. So it starts with Robin. She's working on her father's car, listening to Marvin Gaye's Make Me Wanna Holler. And when she gets a phone call from Dee and Aunt Vi, who are, by the way, themselves in a car jamming to the latest music, asking her to go shopping, and to the movies with them. But she declined, stating that she got to go to the auto parts store, but she can do dinner with them. So they agreed to go out. Now, I'm going to do this a little different. I'm just going to do all the stuff about Dee and Aunt Vi first, and then the second half of my review recap is going to be about Robin's part. Okay, anyway, so Aunt Vi and Dee are in a bodega picking up some snacks for the movies because Aunt Vi, like me, I ain't paying all that money at the concession stands in the movie theater. That's crazy. Anyway, so Dee notices a customer who seems to be a bit shaky, and she can hear her mother's voice in her head saying, sometimes you have a split second to evaluate whether that signifies a threat. So Dee tells Aunt Vi that they need to get out of the store now, and Vi wants to know why, and Dee says because she thinks that male customer is going to rob the store. So they try a back door, but it's locked, and then they try to, head for the front door, but they're too late. The customer pulls up out his gun, tells everybody in the store not to move, and then tells the cashier to put all the money from the register in the safe in the bag. So then he tries to leave, but he can't because the police cars arrive. So they all stuck in there. So the robber is nervous and on edge, and the store's phone keeps ringing, and he doesn't want to answer it. And Dee offers to answer it, and he says no, and finally knocks it off the wall, and it stops. Aunt Vi, in her very tactful way, tries to calm the robber down by talking carefully and calmly to the robber and letting him know that he has a lot to live for and that it's not too late for him to turn things around. Dee asks the robber to please consider surrendering because the police might shoot him, and he replies maybe that's for the best. Vi gets him to open up by noticing from the items in his basket that he is homeless and by the ring on his finger that he has a wife. So he shares his troubles. Vi then stands up and tells him that, she sees him. I see you, and then tells him her name is Violet and asks his name, and he says Drake. Then she shares her story of almost becoming homeless, but had a family and was able to move in with her niece, talking about Robin, and help raise her wonderful daughter, talking about Dee. And it gave her purpose again and time to figure out what to do next. So Drake became interested and asked, her, what did she do? And she told him about painting and teaching art to children. And Vi also lets Drake know that the buildings and bridges he's built with his hands have made a difference in all of our lives every day. So while she's talking him down, he slowly puts down his hand that has the gun in it. And Dee notices that there are no bullets in the gun. All of a sudden, the police kick in the door and Drake points the gun at them. Everyone ducks and Dee kicks his feet from under him so that he falls to the floor. Then she covers him with her body. Aunt Vi yells, please don't, to the cops as Dee holds up one hand and yells to the police, his gun is empty, it's empty. And the police are pointing their guns at her, and then an officer checks in the gun and says she's right, it's empty. At this moment, Aunt Vi grabs Dee's arm saying, what are you doing? And holds her close. And then the police, they cuffed Drake and read him his rights and took him off to jail. Oh, that was good. I said, Dee learned something. She like Robin. She want to help people. She got that in her. We've seen it in other episodes. So now to Robin, Mel, Harry, and Dante. We see these three guys in a van watching Robin go into an auto parts store, and she must have spotted them because once she entered the store, she went into the ladies' room and they followed her, and then a big badass fight broke out. Meanwhile, in another part of town, Mel spotted two men following her and Harry, and she's concerned because she left her gun in the car. So those guys attacked them as well, and it was time for them to fight for their lives. Harry hit them with a can of vegetables or something, I don't know, but I guess you got to use what you got at that moment. Anyway, What I didn't like about Robin's fight scene, though, is that she busted these guys up by stabbing them and banging their heads up against the walls in those porcelain bathroom sinks. And y'all know those things are heavy, and a metal paper towel dispenser. But they were able to just get right back up and keep fighting, and then able to run out without limping or anything. And I'm like, And then Robin found a syringe filled with some liquid. She picked it up and took it with her to meet up with, Mel and Harry at their bar. So then they talk and decide to go downstairs to the Bat Cave and see. When they do, they see someone sitting in Harry's chair smoking. That's a lot of nerve when people start smoking in your space, because you don't see none of them smoke. Anyway, Mel and Robin quickly draw their guns, and we see it's Fisk. Harry wants Fisk out of his chair and not to touch his computer, and Mel is pissed that he broke into their Bat Cave. So Robin asks Fisk what's going on, and that they were attacked, and now he's there. So he's like, he tells them he heard some chatter, and then shows them pics of themselves on the screen. It seems that someone has been surveilling them for weeks. Then Robin shows him the syringe that they tried to stick her with, and Fisk tastes it and smells it. I said, ew. And then that he said he thinks it's midazolam, which is a knockout drug that's used on patients before surgery. But he did say it's not pure. So they know someone named Jacob. Robin and Mel know somebody named Jacob who has a makeshift lab out of his basement uptown, and he may know what else is in that syringe. And Robin added, if he didn't make it his daggone self. So Harry says he's going to go and try to retrace where those vans came from, and Mel tells him to bring a gun and don't engage with anybody. So that's when Fisk tells him to call that Dante. He said he can handle himself pretty well. I said, that Dante, now he's a vet? So anyway, Robin and Mel are looking shocked that he even knows about Detective Dante. So Harry finds Dante in a bar trying to drink his sorrows away, and he tells him that he tried calling a few times, but his ringer must be off. So he traced his phone because he was desperate to reach him. So Harry's surprised to hear about Dante's suspension for doing his job and asks, does it have to do with that guy who shot his pal Manny? So Dante elaborated a bit, then states that maybe his dad is right. Things are stacked against us. So Harry then tells Dante that he could use his help and explains that some hardcore guys came after him, Mel, and Robin. And then Dante was like, Rob, is she okay? You and Mel? And Harry said they're all okay. And he told him that, he traced the vans back to Brooklyn, and that he promised the ladies he wouldn't go alone and that he could use his help. So Dante said he got nothing but time and can use the distraction. So he asked the bartender for some black coffee to go. Next, we see Mel and Robin at Jacob's lab, and they question him about, what's in the syringe, and he's not being very helpful or truthful until Robin sticks him with that syringe and starts yelling that he needs the antidote. He's like, oh. So then he tells them that it's a mixture of cocktail of midazolam and scopolamine, and it's basically a truth serum. You become completely compliant until your nervous system burns out and your heart stops beating after 90 minutes or something like that. So Mel gets the antidote out of the cabinet and won't give it to him. She says she's going to hold on to it. Then Robin asks him, who did he sell it to? And he finally tells where he knows. Then he begs for the antidote, and they admit that what they stuck him with was only a saline and whiskey, and that he'll be fine. And I said, he's sitting there pissing in his pants right now. He was so nervous, I tell you. So now we see Dante and Harry checking out the area where the van came from by looking in windows and taking a pic of a symbol that they didn't recognize. It was up on a wall. Then they texted to Robin, who knew exactly what it was. It was the symbol of the Venezuelan freedom fighter soldiers. So Robin gives Mel some background info about the CIA's fight with them and her losing her whole unit, and watched two of her best friends and Michelle get blown to pieces. So when Robin talks about Michelle is with love and care, we notice. And Dante says he's sorry to hear that. So still, because Harry had her on speaker when they was talking. So they still don't understand why they're after Mel and Harry, since they weren't there. And Robin says, well, Bishop was there, so maybe his protege Fisk was there as well. So as Dante and Harry try to leave so that they won't be accused of trespassing, this big dude comes out of nowhere and starts fighting them. He was beating Harry's behind, and Dante was getting beat up as well. So when they pushed the guy into a wall, a steel rod went right through his chest and the guy died. But somehow during that fight, the guy was able to stick a needle one of those cocktail solutions into Dante's neck. And Harry sees it and watches as Dante falls to the ground instead of running over there and catching him, because he's like, you see the needle, but he doesn't catch him. So that bothered me. I'm like, why did they do that scene that way? So anyway, he decides to drive Dante to the hospital, but Mel and Robin tells him to take Dante to Jacob's lab to get the antidote, because although they have it, they are too far away. So now Dante hears Robin's voice and he starts saying how Robin has such great smile and how you can just get lost in her eyes, and how they're like pools of warm, soothing water. You just want to dive right in. And I was like, oh my God. And Robin was like, what in the world is he saying? So anyway, Robin and Mel confront Fisk about the truth sermon. And you hear me? Serum. I said sermon. And the Venezuelan soldiers, he tells why Robin may have been, roped into all of this, and he apologizes. When she shows him that symbol, Fisk says the name Enrique Vargas, who used to be the leader of the Venezuelan freedom fighters, and he worked closely with the CIA. Fisk was his contact, who he trusted. Anyway, Fisk said that Vargas holds him accountable for the death of his people. So Fisk is saying that Vargas is an extremely dangerous, and we have to take him down. And Robin was like, this sounds like a you problem. So Robin walked away saying, good luck, Fisk. And then like clockwork, Fisk walks to his car and a van pulls up and they grab him and throw him into the van, and he yells out for Robin, who jumps into her car with Mel, and they follow the van. Both Robin and Mel feel like Fisk may have gotten himself kidnapped on purpose to get Robin to help him. So they follow the van to some alley of a building, and Robin mentions that they will, probably need backup, and she sends coordinates to someone. And it's not the CIA though. So who then? Then a smoke bomb is shot into the car, and both Robin and Mel are coughing, but neither of them open the freaking car door to get out so the smoke could go out. And I thought that was dumb. To me, it made no sense to me. They should have just opened the car door and that smoke bomb stuff would have been out. But anyway, I don't know. I don't write the show, so I don't know. So back to Dante in the car with Harry, and he hears Robin's voice again because they was talking over the speakerphone, over the phone, and Harry's driving. And so he says, Robin showed me things about myself that I didn't even know they were there. She showed me that justice wasn't so black and white. And I love her for that. And Harry still, Robin and Miller, they heard all of that, and they were like surprised. Robin is surprised by what he said. She said, did he just say what? So when Harry gets to Jacobs, he yells, is anyone here? And Dante says, Robin is always there. She's my ride or die. And so they find Jacob shot dead. Harry can't find the antidote. Dante says to call Robin. She'll know what to do. She always knows. So Dante falls to the floor and has no pulse, and Harry sees a defibrillator on the wall, and he turns it on, unbuttons Dante's shirt and shocks him 2 times with it until his heart starts again. Dante's eyes pops open and he sits up real quick. Harry asks if he's okay, and Dante said never better. And then we see the shadow of someone hovering over both of them. So now we see Robin and Mel tied up, and Robin yells for her to wake up and tells her that she thinks she saw Michelle. When that smoke bomb hit, she thought she saw Michelle. So they plan a distraction and get the guard to come in there, and Robin kicks him in his nuts, then headbutts him. He falls to the floor. Mel moves her chair, bounces it over to where he is real close, and falls back on him and grabs his knife, then cuts herself loose, and then Robin, and they try to escape. Meanwhile, Fisk is getting beat up by one of the VFF soldiers. Then Enrique shows up and blames him for losing many of his good men back in the past, and he's pissed that Fisk still won't take responsibility for it. Now Fisk is saying, I can't tell you what I don't know, and so they inject him with that truth serum to see if he will tell more. Meanwhile, Robin and Mel, they hear some of this before they get chased by 12 or more men with automatic weapons who can't seem to shoot for nothing because they just keep missing Robin and Mel, and they just, shooting and missing. So Robin, of course, and Mel get caught and put into separate rooms. That's when Robin is face to face with Michelle, and she's glad to see her because she thought she was dead. But Michelle is angry at Robin for leaving her and then punched her in her face. And Robin is like, what the hell? And she tells her that Bishop pulled her out of the building, and Michelle said that Enrique Vargas saved her and nursed her back to health. Robin said, you know better than anything that I would never have left you if I had a choice, but Michelle didn't care. Robin apologizes, and Michelle just wants to fight her now, and Robin says, I'm not going to fight you. Then Michelle shows Robin her team all tied up to chairs and told her that they can now, she can now watch her team die. So Mel and Harry and Dante are they in that room, and they could smell the accelerant and realize they need to get out of there. So then Michelle told one of her men to light it up, and the flames engulfed the room and they were in. So Robin is like, they had nothing to do with this, Michelle. And she was like, unfortunately for them, it's the best way to hurt you. I said, oh, she just plain old evil, ain't she? So then Robin engaged in a fight and was beating Michelle's ass, honey. Then she pushed her over to the two armed guards and grabbed their guns and shot them. And then she ran to that room to save her team, but got surrounded by like 10 guys with guns. They took her back into that room to watch her team burn up. And Michelle said, you're going to watch them burn, and then I'm going to kill you. And Robin yelled, no. And I was like, whoa, this was something. But my question is, so who is it that Robin sent those coordinates to? The coordinates, and where are they? Why aren't they there to save her? Who? This is going to be interesting in the new season. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it down in the comment section. Put your thoughts and feelings down there about it too. And remember, subscribe to my channel, please. Like, comment, and share. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next video. It's your girl, Barbie J, saying peace.